Alright, so this is the bear that we got. We've processed the head and it's still drying, salted. The story behind the bear. It's a good one. Okay, so this bear was causing repeated problems on the homestead. He broke into the puppy yard. He actually broke into the pig pen. Thankfully, this was in their early hours, and so nobody was out. But he left tracks and hair in both. And we encountered him on several occasions acting aggressively. He ran the ducks into the pond and tried to eat them. One time we were approaching, he arched his neck aggressively. Another time he just simply wouldn't leave. And then we had an incident where I came down the path and he was hissing and refused to retreat, and he was only 15 feet away on that one. So this bear was unafraid completely and took a lot to drive him off. But on the final go-round with him, after he had already been aggressive earlier in the day, we encountered him again in the PM, and I just happened to be prepared. And so we went ahead and took him out and we tagged him. So this is my bear. And the shot that got him was an impossible shot, which I was not aiming for. I shot him through the eye. It did no damage to the pelt. It just went straight through the eye, straight through the socket, into his brain, out through his mouth, bottom part of his mouth. And I found a piece of lead in the lung. And it didn't travel through the side of his body. It traveled apparently down through his body. But the kill shot was through the eye. Now, that was just the Lord, because I was not aiming at the eye and nobody could. So, dangerous bear eliminated. And, of course, now we have some meat. So, backstory on this bear. He was traveling with another bear. As we were processing him, the dogs went crazy, and apparently the other bear was there. So she didn't care that we had just took him out. She was there. And then the next day she was back. So she's also not very scared. It took quite a bit to run her off on the second day. But this is the bear that was being naughty with us. So we initially were calling him long-legged because he's very long-legged. And so we thought, because long-legged looking bears, you can see daylight under them, those are generally juveniles. So we thought he's a young bear, okay. He's about 225 pounds, whatever. We tried to weigh, but you know. So on a young bear, this is the tooth that Fish and Wildlife wants with which to age them. And on a young bear, this tooth is quite a bit larger. I think it wears down over time. And so this is kind of registering to me as a older bear. And then also, apparently these marks on the teeth, I think it's called dentine. That indicates an older bear as well. Additionally, we have these front teeth here, and there was some sign that he'd been chewing or rubbing his fur because his tail was kind of frazzled. And they can do that removing the winter's coat, apparently. But he also could have been chewing on it with his teeth. Second option is it was chewing bark as a starvation food on the trees. This is why there's a problem in the Willapa Hills, is because there's a bunch of bears ringing 30-year-old trees and killing them. This is why they wanted some assistance, and Fish and Wildlife declined. So, used to be they were hunting them out there, but they've made it very hard for them with the new laws. So this guy was either eating trees or he was chewing on his fur. So, additionally, part of the reason we think he was so insistent not to remove himself upon request is he was very, very thin. There wasn't no loss of muscle mass, nothing like that, but there was no fat. Last year's bear had a 2-inch cap of fat on the loin, which is the what they call the back strap, or the muscle along the spine. But so this guy wasn't skinny per se, he wasn't underweight, but he was not fat. I had over the whole bear, I was hoping to render fat, but no, it was not an inch of fat on him anywhere. I started saving it, there was like one handful over the entire carcass. So he was lean and mean, and he could have been from, courting the female. Apparently June, July is her breeding season, so they were traveling together, so it could have just been from her. Because I know that, from keeping animals, males will exhaust themselves trying to chase girls. So, could have been that. But irregardless, he had no fat on him, so we're not entirely satisfied with that as our bear for the season, just on the, fact that we're not going to get any lard. But, so we went ahead and we've got him tagged, and the pelt is being processed, the meat is processed, and we've already got a second tag because we're still having problems. We're not having the problems we were. The giant bear I educated earlier in the season, and he's now a little bit more wary, whereas before he was completely fearless, like this one was. This one is permanently educated. He's not going to be causing a problem anymore for anyone. And he's taking a nappy nap in the freezer. So it's important to us to hunt the bears because of there's too many of them on the peninsula. A, not enough people hunting them. B, and also this is our red meat, you guys. This isn't for fun. This isn't for trophies. I didn't used to understand why people would need to hunt bears. We hunt for safety for the homestead, and we hunt for meat. So this is going to feed our family, and it's an excellent red meat. This is our red meat. We don't raise cows, we hunt bears, and it works out for us, and it also removes a problem. And he was definitely a problem bear, and if he had continued in the vein he was going, he would have done something bad and hurt an animal or a person or whatever. I'd never ever been hissed at by a bear. Never ever been challenged by a bear. And he was the first one that has done that, and hopefully he'll be the last. So, yeah, this is a bear that needed to be removed, and it needed to be removed not just for us and our homestead, for everybody around us, because he's a dangerous bear if he doesn't know his place in the world. I fully believe that the Lord put us here, and he told us to dominate the earth, and bears hissing at me and threatening me are not okay with me. They need to run off when I ask them to. They need to have a fear of humans, or it's a problem. So yeah, we're happy about him. We're really excited that he's off of the docket now, and we don't have to worry about him, because we were running up his back every 5 seconds, and that is not cool. Morning, noon, and noonie night, literally. So we thank the Lord for the interesting shot that I could never have made, and we thank the Lord that we're safe. This is our hunting story for this bear.